At 8 o'clock this morning there was nobody here. There was nobody in the varnishing office, nobody in the carpentry office. But the carpentry fridge was open. Looks like a fridge, but it's actually their storage box. And up on deck there was evidence of painters. So, wended my way over to the ladder where, lo and behold, there were a whole load of flip-flops, which indicated to me that it was likely that there were people on board. And sure enough, when I went up to the top of the boat and went inside the boat, there were 3 carpenters and 2 varnishers, all working away, all trying to get jobs done that they wanted to get finished last week and were determined to try and get finished as soon as they could this week. That's why we love our workers. These locker doors here, which Ton has been fixing in place, have been varnished. The varnishing is finished. You see the difference in the colour. Once varnished, slightly darker than the original. And I have to tell you, they feel absolutely smooth. They're really lovely. I'm not going to move them because it looks to me like he's holding them in place there with something. But wow, they feel great. Before the refit, these were just openings behind a sofa, but we've changed the way we're going to run the sofa so that the backs are not fixed hard against the wall. And it does mean that when people sleep in the saloon, they haven't got these horrid openings, but they've got a nice smooth wall to sleep against. I think they look really good. So here is the new removable heads floor. This will be down all of the time, except when we have a shower, when we'll take this up and underneath it there's a wooden grid that allows the water to fall through to the bilge. But most of the time it'll just be this flat surface here, which is the SBC pearl stone finish. It's textured finish, so when it gets wet we won't fall over, that's the idea. That area there, which at the moment is wood, is going all to be also covered in this SPC. And there's Pong sorting it all out. He's just mixing up the glue to put the piece in. It's not even 8:30, they're all down here beavering away. So here, on Pong's workbench, is a lovely big piece of SPC. That's the really thick, unworkable material that he has managed to shape into our work surface for our kitchen, our heads floor, and what you see there is the fridge cover. Fridge cover is 1/2 metre by 1/2 metre, so that gives you a rough idea of how big this piece is. Now this piece is left. We are now trying to decide if there's anything we can do with it, because it's a shame not to use it. So if anyone has any great ideas, please send us an email. Any ideas gratefully accepted. It's going to take a bit more work, but today I made the decision that all of the lockers are going to lose the lining. The lining, I believe, is original. It's a carpet, which is quite traditional on a lot of these yachts. So the walls and the ceilings are in carpet, which is absolutely fantastic if you've got infestation of cockroaches or ants or any of the other animals that like to join us now and again, and really easy to clean off oil and any other bits and pieces that you care to store in your locker. So that's all coming out and is going to be replaced with a simple laminate. Wipe down, easy clean, spray off laminate. Great. Okay, this is Monday morning and I've just been looking over the deck at the paintwork. I'm really happy with it, and I have to say that this non-skid surface is fantastic. You really don't slide at all. Goy's just explained to me now that the vinyl they're putting down to protect the paint while the workers go in and out he's changing it the other way around, because when you put that underneath surface, that grey, onto the non-skid, it absolutely clings onto it, and it doesn't skid at all. So the whole deck is going to be covered in this vinyl here to protect it while the workers go in and out, and all of us go in and out. So I can't show you a perfect deck because there's a lot of work going on, but trust me when I say that this deck looks fabulous. Absolutely fantastic. The gloss bits are glossy, and the non-skid bits are really non-skid. They've also sorted out the front of the cockpit where there was an old opening which no one knew what to do with. So we just filled it in, glassed it in, and resprayed it. True to his word, Goy and Koi are now spending the afternoon polishing every single piece of gloss finish on the boat. Like Yod Chai knows the hull, they know the deck. The rear boxes are almost complete. They need some hinges and some latches, and we're going to put a little bit of white Sikaflex between the wood and the top there, because there is a very slight dimple in there. Other than that, I think they look spectacular. Complete with the odd handprint. Gerard collars, these have all been ready, primed, but they're top coat, they're going to be gloss white. So you have the collar, and then on top of the collar you either put the funnel to allow air into the cabin, or you cap them off to stop water getting into the cabin. Eagle-eyed among you would have noticed there are 4 caps, 6 collars, and only 2 funnels. That's because we can't find the other 2. We're looking everywhere. If I can find them, we'll paint them. If we can't, then it looks like we have to get 2 new ones. And the rain's coming down on Monday morning, but we don't care because the painting is all finished. It's had 4 days now to cure, so it's also under 2 roofs, so we're not getting any rain on the deck. And down below, nobody's working down here, they're all inside the boat. So we don't care about the rain here on Esper. There are a couple of other boats out there that are getting a bit fed up with it because they're trying to fiberglass. But look at us, all dry and snug as a bug. To be honest, I don't think there's any bit of this hull that Yod Chai doesn't know intimately. He's been round it about 18 times. Just doing some final preparation here before they put a 5th coat of Jotamastic. We talked about it on Saturday, Ewan and I, and because the last one was a little thick, it's a little uneven. So Yod Chai's evening it up, which he spent most of Saturday doing all on his own. And then he's going to apply a 5th coat, but the mixture's going to be thinner than the last one, so it'll just even it up nicely. And then when he's done that, which hopefully will be by the end of the day, the hull will be ready for when we depart. Just before we go, we'll put the anti-foul on. Now of course, as they've been going around the hull and sorting out various layers of this, that and the other, there are 1 or 2 places that they haven't been able to reach. So where the boat stands here are on the struts, and where the keel is, they haven't managed to reach those pieces. So the next thing is that the boat will be lifted so that we can get to the keel. And the pads will be moved up much higher above the rubbing straight on the top sides there. And then in these patches we will have biaxial, 2 layers, microfiber, 2 layers, epoxy resin 4 layers, Jotamastic 5 layers. There's quite a bit to do there. but I'm told we won't move the boat until the rubbing strake has been put on, until the top sides are ready. Then we move the boat. This is our stainless steel. It's 316 grade, the choice of yachties. That bit there has been polished. It's got cling film round it and it's all ready to go. The bit next to it here has not yet been finished, but you can see that they've already started to polish it up. The polishing is not just a case of getting a bit of brasso and a cloth. It's quite meticulously working through every little piece of the tube and turning it until it's perfect. So this is the first section here of the new bit, which he's worked on, and the next thing he'll do is he'll then smooth it out. So then we move from the bit that's being worked on to the bit that hasn't started to be worked on yet. And you can see there's lots of marks, there's pits and grooves and so forth in the original tube. Some of these get filled in, welded and so forth. And then they're turned and eventually ground and polished to a really lovely smooth surface, all ready for our swimming platform. Owen reckons they've got another 2 or 3 days worth of work on working on this particular piece, and then it will go off to Hat Yai where it will be bent, because they don't have the machine that's necessary to bend this very thick piece of tubing in 316 stainless steel here in the workshop. So it'll go off to Hat Yai, so I reckon by next week we may well have it back, and then Pong will be able to finish off our swimming platform. You really wouldn't want to be going along behind that on your moped. I think I'd steer clear.
Just before we go, we thought we'd show you the beginnings of our saloon table. We spent much time debating about the possibility of losing the table altogether, or perhaps just having a low coffee table. Instead, we're combining both ideas. What we're aiming for is a normal size saloon table with a removable top. Once removed and stowed away against the cabin wall, it reveals a much smaller table underneath, which is on an adjustable pedestal. That in turn is removable so that we lose the table altogether. Next time we hope to show you some plans of this design, but in the meantime here you can see Pong working on the upper section. It will be finished in teak to match the floor. That's it for week 23. From here in the UK I'm really pleased to see things progressing well, and kudos to Liz for handling both the project and the video updates. It's looking great and I can't wait to return to help with the end of the project.